Imagine holding a piece of money so beautiful that people kept it, not to spend but to admire, a currency so bold that it embarrassed royalty, a banknote so unique that it defied every tradition of design and security. This was the Dutch gulden. Before the euro took over, the Netherlands had one of the most stunning and innovative currencies in the world. Dutch banknotes weren't just money, they were art, filled with vibrant colors, hidden details, and playful surprises. And behind this revolutionary design was one man, a designer who turned everyday cash into something unforgettable. But how did he do it? And why did his designs disappear? Let's uncover the fascinating story of Dutch money as you've never seen it before. For centuries, the Netherlands had its own currency, the gulden, also known as the guilder. The story of the gulden goes back to the 13th century, when the Italian gold florin became widely used in trade across Europe. By the 14th century, another version, the Rhenish gulden, became popular in many European states, including the Netherlands. Over time, as paper money replaced gold coins, the term gulden remained, even though the currency was no longer made of precious metal. For generations, the gulden was a symbol of Dutch identity and economic strength. In the 1960s, the design of Dutch money underwent a transformation that made it stand out internationally. Their colors became more vibrant than the dollar, their designs more striking than any other currency in the world. The gulden wasn't just money, it was art. And behind this revolution in design was one man, Robert Utje Oxenaar. Utje Oxenaar was a Dutch graphic designer known for his bold use of bright colors and innovative techniques, such as computer-generated patterns, which was rare and unheard at that time. His work challenged the traditional approach to design, having a blend of creativity with functionality in ways that were both practical and visually stunning. Before he started designing money, Oxenaar made a name for himself by working on government stamps. Instead of sticking to rigid, formal designs, he injected a sense of playfulness into them, making everyday objects feel more engaging and artistic. His stamps stood out for their unexpected color choices, intricate details, and a sense of modernity that felt fresh and exciting. It was his unique approach that led him to one of the biggest projects of his career. In the 1960s, the Dutch National Bank asked him to design a new series of banknotes. At the time, Dutch money was functional but uninspired. Oxenaar saw an opportunity to change that. He wanted to create something bold, something that reflected the creativity and progressive spirit of the Netherlands. What he came up with would go on to transform not just Dutch money, but the way people around the world thought about currency design. His first major project was the Flater series, a set of 5 banknotes featuring some of the Netherlands' most significant historical figures: the writer Joost van den Vondel, the painter Frans Hals, Jan Sweelinck, a composer Michiel de Ruyter, the naval commander, and the famous philosopher Baruch Spinoza. But these weren't the usual stiff, formal portraits found on most banknotes. Instead of treating these figures with a traditional air of reverence, Oxenaar took a completely different approach. His versions had exaggerated features, almost like comic book illustrations, making them feel more lively and unexpected. Most countries use famous people on their money to celebrate national pride, but those choices can be complicated. Over time, some historical figures become controversial, representing outdated ideas or difficult parts of history. Oxenaar sidestepped this issue entirely. Instead of glorifying these figures, he caricatured them, less like distant legends and more like characters with personality. His designs weren't about glorifying the past. They were playful, creative, and full of individuality, turning banknotes into something much more than just money. Oxenaar didn't stop with unusual portraits. When he was asked to redesign the 100 gulden note and create new 50 and 250 gulden notes, he completely changed how people thought about money. For the 100 gulden note, he replaced the traditional portrait with a bird, which was a snipe. This was unheard of. A snipe had no special connection to the Netherlands. It was just a bird found in marshlands. For centuries, banknotes had always featured monarchs, scientists, and national heroes. But Oxenaar challenged that idea by putting a simple bird on one of the most widely used bills in the country. For the 50 gulden note, he went even further. He featured a sunflower. Again, not an obvious national emblem, but there was a subtle meaning behind it. The sunflower was a quiet nod to Vincent van Gogh, one of the Netherlands' most celebrated painters. It wasn't spelled out, but anyone familiar with Van Gogh's famous sunflower paintings would recognize the connection. At the time, these choices shocked people. Banknotes were supposed to honor rulers, scientists, or war heroes, not feature birds and flowers. But Oxenar believed money could be more than just a financial tool. It could be art. His designs challenged the idea of what a banknote should be and made Dutch currency stand out in a way no other money in the world did. Oxenar's designs weren't just visually striking, they were full of hidden details that most people never even noticed. He had a way of making money feel more personal, adding little touches that made Dutch banknotes stand out. One of his best-kept secrets was on the 10 gulden note. In the hair of Spinoza, he quietly slipped in his own fingerprint. It wasn't something obvious, and for years, no one knew it was there. It was his way of leaving a personal mark on the design, almost like signing a painting. On the lighthouse note, he hid the names of 3 women, his granddaughter, his girlfriend, and a close friend, within the beam of light. It wasn't just a design choice, it was a private detail only he truly understood, turning a banknote into something more personal. What if you could explore the world with the same curiosity as Utje Oxenar? With the Carson Mini Bright Pocket Magnifier, you can discover incredible details anywhere. Compact, with LED light and high magnification, it's perfect for collectors, detail enthusiasts, and anyone who loves to explore. Click the link in the description to learn more and get yours. Now let's get back to our story. Even the security features had his creative touch. Most countries use serious-looking watermarks with official symbols or portraits, but Oxenar went in a different direction. He chose animals instead, adding a bit of personality to the notes while also making them harder to fake. The 100 gulden note had a snipe, the 50 gulden note had a bee, and the lighthouse note had a dune rabbit. These details might seem small, but they made Dutch money special. It wasn't just something people used to buy things, it was something worth noticing, something with stories hidden in every design. And that's what made Oxenar's work so different. He took something ordinary and turned it into something unforgettable. One of Oxenar's most famous designs was the 50 gulden note with a bright, bold sunflower. But what made it truly special wasn't just the design, it was a tiny mistake that turned into a legend. When Oxenar was finalizing the design for the 50 gulden note, he carefully placed it in a plastic folder to take it to the Dutch National Bank for approval. Somewhere along the way, something unexpected happened. A small bee sticker, originally meant to be positioned elsewhere, accidentally shifted across the paper and landed on one of the sunflower's petals. Most designers would have noticed the mistake and corrected it right away, keeping everything the way it was exactly planned. But Oxenar saw something different. Instead of removing the misplaced bee, he decided to leave it exactly where it had landed, believing it added a unique and unplanned charm to his design, and so he left it there. He didn't mention a thing when he showed the design to the bank, and they approved it without realizing what had happened. When the notes were printed, the bee stayed exactly where it had accidentally landed. That little mistake ended up becoming one of the most beloved details of Dutch money. It gave the note a personality and also a bit of an inside joke hidden in plain sight. And in a way, it summed up everything Oxenar stood for. Design that wasn't just functional, but playful, unexpected, and full of character. Oxenar's banknotes stood out because of their colors. Most countries stuck with safe, muted tones, but he believed money should be bright, instantly recognizable, and easy to tell apart. He had a simple rule: the most used bills should also be the easiest to identify. To make this work, he assigned primary colors like red, blue, and yellow to the lower denominations, and secondary colors like green, violet, and brown to the higher ones. This wasn't just about making the money look nice, it was about making it easier to use. People didn't have to take out a bill and carefully check the numbers to know its value. The colors, the design, and even the choice of fonts all worked together to make each note instantly recognizable. If someone used Dutch money regularly, they could tell a 50 gulden note from a 100 gulden note at just a glance, simply by the bright flash of color in their wallet. This smart design made handling cash faster and more convenient for everyone. His approach worked so well that it influenced future banknotes beyond the Netherlands. When the euro was introduced, it followed the same approach that had made Dutch banknotes so easy to recognize. Each denomination was given its own distinct color. It wasn't just a coincidence, it was a direct nod to Dutch money and the system Oxenar had pioneered. His designs weren't just beautiful, but they changed the way people thought about currency, making it more practical, more efficient, and in many ways more human. In 2002, the Netherlands officially switched to the euro, marking the end of the gulden and an era of creativity in Dutch currency. The transition was a practical decision meant to unify European economies and simplify trade across borders, yet it also meant the loss of something unique, money that reflected the soul of a nation. The euro, while functional and secure, lacked the charm, personality, and artistic brilliance that Oxenar had infused into the gulden. From 1966 to 1985, Oxenar's designs transformed Dutch banknotes into works of art, elevating them from mere currency to something far more meaningful. His work didn't just make Dutch money recognizable, it gave it character, identity, and a sense of national pride. The bright colors, unconventional portraits, and hidden details turned everyday transactions into small moments of artistic appreciation. People didn't just use these banknotes, they admired them, collected them, and even kept them long after they had left circulation. Yes, even though the gulden has disappeared, its legacy remains. Collectors still treasure Oxenar's designs, and graphic designers continue to study them as examples of innovation in currency design. His work showed that money isn't just about transactions, it can be a cultural artifact, a reflection of history, and even a medium for self-expression. His playful yet purposeful approach challenged the conventions of banknote design, proving that something as routine as cash could still be a source of wonder. Oxenar's designs weren't just currency, they were statements, jokes, and masterpieces all in one, and decades later they're still remembered. Today, people look back on the Dutch gulden with nostalgia, not just for its purchasing power, but for the way it made currency feel personal. And thanks to Oxenar, the Netherlands had for a time the most beautiful money in the world. And now I want to hear from you. What other topics would you like to see on the channel? Is there a fascinating story, an inspiring figure, or a singular business that deserves to be explored? Leave your comment below. I read them all, and who knows, your suggestion might become the next video. Thank you, and see you soon.